Hello Butterfly Tribe, what is up, what is good? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jasmine and I am your integrative wellness support coach, and I am here to support you through the complexities of mental health, chronic pain, and the challenges of life. I know it's been a while since I've been on here, but I am happy to announce that I have been sponsored and have been collaborating with the Finding Inspiration Foundation, which is led by Andrew Smith, who is a filmmaker who creates short stories about the real life challenges of mental health. Their videos span from addiction to depression to domestic violence, and the video that we will be reacting to today is about suicidal ideation. For those of you who know, I have my own personal history with mental health. I had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, PTSD, generalized anxiety. I've also had my own share of self-harming and also suicidal ideation. So I feel very honored to be able to work with this foundation in order to spread more awareness about how mental health truly impacts people's daily lives. If suicidal ideation is something that is triggering for you, please feel free to watch this video at a later time. That is always okay. But I pray to those of you who are looking for insight. Maybe you have family members who are struggling. Maybe you yourself have struggled with it in the past, or maybe you're just watching this video just to watch. Maybe you're just passing through. But I pray that this reaction video touch your hearts. I pray that it brings clarity to your life about mental health. And I also pray that for those of you who are struggling, that it bring hope and light into your life. If you do not know what suicidal ideation is, suicidal ideation refers to thinking about or formulating plans for suicide. The ideation exists on the spectrum, beginning with a general desire to die that lacks any concrete method, plan, or intention or action. But then over time that can progress to someone actually having a plan and actually following through with that plan. So this is what today's video is going to be about today. So yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it.
Come in.
Yo, what's good, fam?
Damn. What's good, bro?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
Doing good, brother. But what you doing here?
Shit, man, my shoot ended early, so I figured I'd come check on a little bro.
Okay, well, here. Let me actually finish up this report right quick, bro, okay?
Report? I thought that was due at 11 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, man. Well, they actually went about 5 p.m. today, man.
5 p.m. It's fucking ridiculous.
Facts.
But no, though, seriously. I remember you were telling me that you needed some new life inspiration and shit. I think I found what you need, bro. Come on. Rock with me.
Hey Jamal, is everything okay?
Yeah. We'll be right back. Just taking a break.
So I want to stop right here first, y'all, to talk about something that one of the characters brought up. This part really stuck out to me, needing new life inspiration. Whenever I was struggling with suicidal ideation, dealing with self-harming and battling the struggles that I was dealing with when it came to bipolar disorder and BPD, that was something that I was seeking in my life. I was seeking something different than what I was already experiencing. I was seeking hope. I was seeking joy. I was seeking peace. It's this feeling of just, you know, you don't want to be where you're at in life. You know that things are hard, but internally you're yearning for something different. And then you begin to start asking yourself why. You begin to start asking yourself, like, why am I going through this? Why is this my life? Why did I have to experience this? You know, those tough questions where a lot of times you don't really get an answer for. So, yeah, I feel like when people do struggle with suicidal ideation, you are seeking some form of outlet to get you out of that dark place.
I used to beat you in like every game back in the day.
Here we go, bro.
Every single one. Mario, GTA.
You be cheating, bro. You be cheating.
You mad because I'm better. I don't understand. It's bitter.
Always looking at my screen, bro.
Baby mama energy, bro. But nah, man. I remember that one time you told mom a lie and got my ass whooped.
I was just trying to be helpful, bro.
Bro, ain't nobody asked you to help me though.
I know. I see. Fair enough. So, what's this?
The answers to all of your questions.
Like?
Listen, bro. I know it's just been crazy and you've been looking for answers. I was doing research and I think I found what you need. It's this dude in here named Master Yukon, right? You go in here, rub a lamp like a genie or some shit, and poof, he appears. Get the keys to life, bro.
Bro, what the hell are you talking about?
You'll see.
Oh, here we go. Looks kind of creepy. Definitely kind of creepy. What the fuck?
You remember me?
What? No? My brother brought me here. I don't know who the fuck you are.
I'm Yukon.
Yukon? That's not a name.
It's the name you gave me. You need to forgive yourself. What happened is not your fault.
What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
You don't need to do this.
Do what?
You need to survive.
You gotta do it now.
So I want to take a moment just to speak on what has happened so far. As we get deeper into the video, it'll explain how he got to this point. But I want to share some things that really stood out to me in the sections that we just watched. So as you can see, his brother is with him. And then he had a woman show up and a man show up. And as the people are talking to him, they're saying things like, you need to forgive yourself. Someone also said, you don't want to do this. And he yelled, do what? And then someone else said, you need to survive. One of the things that I've learned or that I experienced along my healing journey is forgiving myself. there was a lot of guilt and shame that I held on to when I was battling bipolar disorder, especially as a mom and as a wife, and also my plans of retiring for the military. It was like everything that I loved was being broken down by this illness that I didn't even want, that I had no expectation of it even coming into my life. And I eventually had to learn to forgive myself for the wrongs that I put on myself with self-harming, the thoughts that I had about myself, saying that I was a bad mom for the things that I was going through, the thoughts that I was having about myself. I had to learn to forgive myself, and that was so hard, especially because when things happen in your life that are so unexpected, that tend to take you out of character, right? Because that was something that was really hard for me too. Experiencing mental illness, experiencing SA, it was like everything that felt like was me was just stripped away from me. My vulnerability, my mental clarity, my physical strength, my ability to get work done thoroughly, my ability to be a mom and take care of my children, being able to take care of my home, being a loving and nurturing wife. And I began to ask God, why? Like, God, why am I going through this? What did I do wrong? What wasn't I doing in my life that you are causing me to experience these things? And I wasn't mad at him. I was just so sad because I didn't understand. It felt like my life was going right, and then boom, everything just changed at a drop of a dime. And even though it felt like that, when I go back and look on it, I realized that, there was a lot of things in between that were happening that I didn't realize was contributing to the level of stress that I was going through in my life. So going back to, you need to forgive yourself. It's so important because it helps you to release yourself from the constraints and the bondage that you are placing on yourself from guilt, from shame, even from the trauma that you may have experienced in your life. When you begin to forgive yourself, you're allowing yourself to start that journey of healing. And at times, that's the seed that needs to be planted within us. And forgiveness isn't something that just happens right away. It's not something that you just say, oh, I forgive myself today and now everything's going to be fine. It's a process. But if you continue to make that choice every single day and to not allow guilt and shame to deter you from what God has placed in your life, what God has called you to, even despite the circumstances that you're in, it doesn't make everything change right away, but it makes the process flow a little bit easier, because now you're not allowing yourself to be trapped in your mind and in your emotions and in your trauma. Someone also said, you don't have to do this. And he said, do what? He said it with so much anger and frustration. He said, do what? And I realized that as the scene changed, when he kind of snapped out of it after, I'm assuming it's his mom, I'm not sure, but after the woman showed up and the man showed up, he kind of snapped out of it. And I realized that that was some form of avoidance to the pain that he was experiencing. He was avoiding it. He was dissociating and having these out of body experiences. And that was something that I experienced too. In moments where I was so deeply depressed, it felt like I was in a movie where I would see myself from a upper perception, just watching myself washing the dishes, just watching myself walking through life, just watching myself taking care of my children. I wasn't actually there because I was dissociating in order to hide and to avoid the pain that I was experiencing mentally, emotionally, and physically in my life. And there became a point in my life where I was so tired of trying to fight on my own that suicide it felt like that was the answer that I needed. Because I would tell myself and I would tell my therapist, like, man, I do not want to wake up. I don't want to wake up because I'm tired of the hardship that I am currently experiencing in my life. I'm tired of the depression and the heaviness and the lack of energy. I'm tired of crying every single day. I'm tired of the physical pain. I'm tired of the manic episodes because it becomes exhausting. And even when it comes to trauma, you begin to feel like you're unworthy when people take the vulnerability out of you, you know, where you were once so trusting to people that you loved, or even to the world. You thought you can trust certain people and people snatch that from you. So now you have this sense of worthlessness, or you don't feel valuable. So I began to question all of that, and it felt like suicide was the only way out. But internally, you really don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that to be the only answer. But at times, the heaviness from the pain begins to overpower you. So you begin to avoid. You begin to find other ways to escape the pain. One thing that I also noticed is that within this section of the video, I'm noticing that the people who are coming up to him are people who know him, people who seem to love him and care about him. And I want to say too that when you're battling suicidal ideation, when you're battling the war that is in your mind, having people around you who love you, who nurture you, who care about your well-being, even having God in your life creates a foundation that makes it easier to fight. I remember whenever I was battling mental illness for myself, I had people around me. Like I had my husband, even though my children at the time, they were young. Like my daughter, she was a baby. My oldest at the time, he was about 5 years old, 6 years old. So they were young, so 6 and under. And I had friends that I could call on. But in that moment of my life, because everything within me was so dark, it clouded my vision and my ability to see the people around me who genuinely loved me and cared about my well-being. And I know at times, like when you're the one going through it, you see the destruction that it's bringing into your life, and then you also begin to see the destruction that it's bringing on other people. So you tend to close yourself off. You tend to separate yourself, right? You tend to dissociate and isolate. But having a community, having a support system, whether that be a church home, whether that be family members, whether that be AA, whether that be, finding a group on Facebook that you can go to where people are going through similar things that you are going through. Having people around you is so helpful. I remember times where even like this, where whenever I was going through thoughts, randomly, like my husband would come upstairs and tell me like how proud he is of me, how good of a job I was doing, even though internally I felt like I wasn't. And I truly feel like that's God bringing life to you, like trying to show you like, here, even in the midst of your darkness, there is light and love around you. Even in the midst of your hardships, God has placed people in your life who are there to help carry the burdens, to make that yoke a little bit lighter than what you're having to carry. And I know at times that's hard, when all you can see is the pain, when all you can feel is the pain. But making the choice to acknowledge, to appreciate those around you, and to not allow that guilt and that shame to drive you down a path of destruction, that can be so fulfilling. That can be the light at the end of the tunnel that you continuously see and that you continuously work towards, even though you feel like you're in this pit. So yeah, let's continue watching.
Jamal, is everything okay in there? Is anybody hurt? I need you to talk to me. Is anybody hurt inside? I was the first officer there. I was there, Jamal. I was there. Please, before any of my backup comes, we can talk about this. But I need you to put the gun down, please. I need you to talk to me. I'm Officer Jones. I was there 3 months ago. When you lost your family, you lost it all. I'm here.
Relax, I got you.
Yo, what's good, fam?
Damn. What's good, bro?
Yeah, officer, I'm calling about one of my employees. He doesn't look too well. I think you need to send someone for help.
Please be advised, an employer just called about his employee, black male, 20s to 30s, goes by the name Jamal Wilson, acting irrational at work, last seen on West Tremont Street. Please proceed with caution.
10-4 to dispatch. This is Officer Jones. I think I might know where he is. I'm headed to his 20s.
You need to survive.
I want to talk about some other things that I noticed in the video. I loved how the employee was able to notice the signs. He said that he was acting irrationally, not looking like his normal self. And that tends to happen and tends to be a sign for people who are battling suicidal ideation, even for people who don't actually have a plan. Their demeanor begins to change, their attitude begins to change. Sometimes people become isolated. And then on the other hand, you can have people who actually have a plan and they're acting completely normal. Maybe a few weeks ago, you noticed a change in their behavior. Maybe you noticed that they were more down, they weren't eating as much, they weren't doing things that they usually like to do on the daily basis. They weren't hanging out with you as much. And then out of the blue, you see that they're acting normal again. They start reaching out to people, saying that they love them and that they're so grateful for them. You think that things are on the up and up, and then they end up taking their life. And that is the sad reality about suicidal ideation, is that it's on a spectrum and it does impact everyone differently. But if you notice someone, whether that be in your work environment or a family member, don't be afraid to reach out and get that person help. Whether you share with them 988, whether you take them to the ER, or you find a therapist or someone for them who can help them. because it's serious. It's very serious. Something else that I noticed is the continuous thoughts about the event. That was something that I had struggled with as well. The ruminating thoughts about the trauma that I had experienced, and also the trauma that mental illness brings into your life as well. I began to think about like my actions all the time. Like, why do I keep self-harming? Why am I so angry? Why am I so sad? Why do I fear being touched? And I just kept ruminating on these thoughts and also the events that happened in my life. And ruminating on trauma and things can be so debilitating to someone's mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. And I learned too, like in therapy, that I didn't realize that I was doing it until I began to speak on it and talk to my therapist about it, and also talk to God about the things that I was experiencing. Once I started talking about it, that was so healing for me, and it made it easier for me to let go of the thoughts. Something else that used to help me a lot too, y'all, was whenever I had a negative thought or when I began to think about the event, I had to remind myself that I was safe. I had to tell myself that it was okay. I had to take deep breaths. In the beginning, though, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard for me to do it because I didn't see how that would help. You know, I was the type of person who I internalized everything. I kept everything within. I didn't speak on it because I felt like that was strength. If I didn't speak on it, if I carried it well, then I was strong. And I learned that that was actually not true. Holding on to those things, not speaking on it, not crying, those things is what made me continuously hold on to the pain, the guilt, the sadness, the tears, the emotional pain. It made me hold on to all of that in my heart. And then because I was holding all of that in my heart, it then began to affect my mind. So in moments like this, where you are continuously thinking about the event or the things that have happened in your life, in those moments, recognize that you're doing it and then shift your mindset into something positive. Think about something that makes you happy. Think about something that brings you joy. Get a journal and journal out your thoughts and emotions. Talk to God about it, right? He is our counselor. He is our healer. That is what Christ is for. So talk to him about the things that you're going through and give it to him. And don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to cry. When you allow yourself to cry, you are releasing the pain and you are contributing to your healing journey. Whether that be from trauma that you've experienced, whether that be from the pain that you've experienced, betrayal, maybe you lost someone like the character did in this video. Maybe you lost yourself. And maybe that's been difficult for you to manage. I've realized that our self and our mind and the things that we experience can at times be an enemy to us, continuously breaking us down to have us believe things about ourselves that aren't true, forcing us to continuously sit on the negative experiences, and we then forget about the good that happens in our life. And this is not me saying that these things are going to take away everything right away, because battling suicidal ideation, it's not easy. It takes a lot of steps. It takes a lot of therapy. It takes a lot of healing, a lot of faith and trust into the people that you are sharing that information with. If you believe in God, allowing him to be that, or allowing him to place his hand in your life, all of that takes time. When you begin to acknowledge or to become aware of where your thoughts are going, where your actions are going, where your emotions are going, finding a way to shift your mindset and find the light, finding the bright spots in your life can be so rewarding too. It can be that little umph that you need to get through the day. It could be that little spark that you need that's going to bring you light, that's going to place a smile on your face, you know? So finding people in your life who love you, who nurture you, who genuinely care about your well-being can always be so rewarding. Journaling what you're feeling, crying it out can be so rewarding. Taking a deep breath and telling yourself that you're safe when your body begins to react to whatever is triggering you in that moment can be so rewarding. And that becomes the steps, the seeds that help you to rewire your mind and help you to heal from the things that are causing suicidal ideation in your life. So yeah, I also loved at the end how it said your growth matters, your health matters, your survival matters, and you matter. Growth is such a beautiful thing, and it takes so much patience, and it takes a lot of time as well. And not everybody's growth journey looks the same. So for you, maybe going to therapy is the start of your growth journey in order to combat suicidal ideation or the things that you may be struggling with your mental health. Maybe your growth journey is going to start with journaling, just learning how to articulate your thoughts and your feelings. Maybe that's where your growth journey is going to start. Maybe your growth journey is going to start by getting outside and getting out of your house and getting some light, some sun, going on a little walk. Growth starts differently for everyone, but how you do it is yours. Maybe it's growing closer to God, talking to Him about the things that you're experiencing, getting into your word, finding a church family. Maybe that's where your growth journey is going to start. Just know that wherever you choose to start is yours, and you are planting that seed to begin your healing journey. And transformation starts right there. It's believing in yourself, even when it's hard. Your health matters. Not just physical health, but your mental health as well. What you're feeling matters, is validated. But you also have to validate yourself and what you're experiencing, acknowledging that it's hard, acknowledging that it's a struggle, acknowledging that maybe this is something that I can't fight on my own, because I had to tell myself that. That's the start of growth. That's the start of healing. So your health, your mental health matters too. Because what affects your mind, affects your heart, affects your body, and it affects your spirit. It all goes together. It's all interconnected. So take care of yourself in wholeness, okay? And your survival matters. You're not here for just no reason. Even despite the hardships that you may be experiencing, even despite the pain, even despite the trauma, your survival matters. And a lot of times in your pain, something beautiful can come from that, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, or like a butterfly that was once a caterpillar, has entered the cocoon, and when you're in that cocoon, it's dark, things are uncomfortable. And that caterpillar, it doesn't stay there. It gets broken down to nothing. And then a butterfly is transformed. So even in the midst of your hardships, where things are uncomfortable, where things are hard, your survival matters. And you have purpose in life, despite it all. If others may have given up on you, God has not given up on you, and you do not give up on yourself. Because you matter. You matter. Your life matters. You are part of the interconnectedness of life. I pray y'all that Whoever is struggling with suicidal ideation, that you find peace. I pray that your mind no longer becomes a battlefield, and that the mental and emotional pain that you are struggling with begin to ease. I pray that joy fill you, and that you find a community or a support system that is going to encourage you and uplift you to keep fighting even when it's hard. I pray that you find light at the end of the tunnel, and that light be the thing that help you to continue to move forward in healing, in growth, and in health. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Hey y'all, so before we end today's reaction video, I wanted to give y'all some journal prompts to consider. The first journal prompt says, what feelings am I holding on to that I continuously avoid? This would be a great journal prompt to literally just sit with yourself and to sit and actually analyze your thoughts and your emotions. Another journal prompt that I thought would be nice is write down something you want to let go of today, whether that be trauma, pain you're holding on to, unforgiveness, and consider the impact that it has had on you by holding on to these things for so long. Maybe what it has done to you mentally, what it has done to you emotionally, what it has done to you spiritually, and maybe even within relationships. The next journal prompt says, who are the people in my life that contribute positively to my well-being? Sometimes it's great to be able to have the awareness of those around you who are there to support you even in the tough times. It's always great to have people around you who are there when things are good, but to have people around you who are also going to be there for you when things are hard. And at times when we are in dark places, it can cloud our vision of those people in our life. So take the time to write down those people who you believe contribute positively to your well-being, who care about you, who nurture you, and who support you. The next journal prompt says, how can I add God into my healing journey? Maybe your healing journey has been just you. Maybe you've been doing it by yourself for so long and there's a sense of tiredness that has overcome you. Something that I had to learn along my journey too was that this was something that I could not do by myself, and I needed God to help me to heal and to pull out things that were very difficult for me to let go of. And not just pulling out things, but helping me to heal trauma that I couldn't heal on my own. So seeing how God can help you along your healing journey may be beneficial to you. And then the last journal prompt says, write a gratitude list of 5 to 10 things or even people who you are grateful for. Gratitude is a way that shifts our mindsets from the negative and allows us to see the goodness in our life. So write a gratitude list, and I challenge you to do one maybe every week or once a month to help you see the goodness that is in your life. All right, y'all, I hope these journal prompts help. And if you want to leave your answers in the comments, that would be amazing too. But hopefully these help y'all, and I love y'all, and let's get back to the video. I love y'all so much, but God loves you more, and I pray that y'all were able to take something away from this video. Mental health is something that is very important to me, so like I said, I'm so excited to be able to work with the Finding Inspiration Foundation. I will also post, probably in the description, the foundation's website and also their YouTube channel, so if you want to check them out, you are more than welcome to. But stay blessed, y'all. Always and forever. Stay safe. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in another reaction video. Peace. Hello, Butterfly Tribe. Welcome to jasminsbutterfly.com, where you can book your personal intuitive coaching session with me. As your integrative wellness support coach, I am here to support young faith-based women through the complexities of mental health, the ups and downs of life, and chronic pain. through the use of holistic remedies, self-assessments, journal prompts, mental health tools, cards for guided conversation, and Bible verses. This is all in order to help you release limiting beliefs, to heal emotional wounds, and to cultivate a deep sense of inner peace. So if you're looking to book your own intuitive coaching session with me and you're a new client, go ahead and book a free 30-minute consultation. All right, y'all. I hope y'all have a blessed one. Always and forever stay safe. Peace.